to another episode of Get Under the Hood. You're here with your host, Juan, and we got Chrissy here with us tonight.
You know what? They always say third time's a charm, Juan.
I hope so.
3 times of trying to do that intro, and that was flawless. You got it right now.
All right, that sounds better.
Oh, I love your hat, except it needs to be a Yankee hat.
No, it won't happen. Your dad said the same thing.
No, like it really does. Like it's so like cool, and you've got like this vibe going on about you. Like, did you have a makeover or something?
No, I just had a haircut today.
Oh, so you're all like fresh and clean?
Fresh and clean.
Alan, look at it. Alan had a haircut too.
Hey, I don't like to brag.
I had a haircut on Saturday. What's going on here? Everybody wanted a fresh look?
I guess.
And you got that vibe.
It was finally summer. It was starting to get warm. So, yeah,
that
lasted, the haircut.
It lasted a week, and now we're back into the 30s and the 60s.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining, though. I'd rather be in a hoodie and hanging out in loungewear.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice like that. I love your outfit. Who is this sweatshirt made by?
This is just made by my cousin.
What's your cousin do?
He's a Snap-on salesman.
What?
Sells Snap-on tools.
How do I get a sweatshirt like that?
You got to pay for it.
How
He
much?
even made me pay for it.
Oh, he didn't even give you a family discount?
No family
That's
discount.
so wrong on so many levels.
So I'm going to make sure later I'm going to send this video to him and be like, hey, look.
That's right.
I know. Like, everybody look at that sweatshirt. It's got to go on. I need to buy one of those. Those look so comfortable.
I'll message them. They are comfortable.
Yeah. No, it's really cool. Did you watch the Super Bowl by any chance?
I don't.
You didn't watch the halftime show?
I watched the halftime show. Didn't watch Super Bowl.
I want to talk about the car that Kendrick was standing on.
The GNX.
1987 Buick GNX. Can we talk about that? Because it was a sexy car.
Yeah.
I want to know the ins and outs. How many of these were made? Why you don't have one? Let's go down the line.
All right. First of all, I don't have one. They're not cheap.
Oh, okay. So it's out of the budget.
So I'm not sure the years. I know they made them from like mid 80s, so like 84. Maybe they may have started. So technically it's a Grand National. But like the 87, I believe there's only a few hundred. I think when I was looking it up, I think it was only like 500.
So how much are those cars then, you think now?
I've seen some go at Barrett for over 100,000.
Oh, that's not that bad.
Or more.
I would thought it was more than that.
How many miles? I think they're up there.
Yeah, that was a sexy car, though. What did you think about it, Alan? It was black and sexy. What?
I know.
How did
I was.
What do you like the Buick GNXs like as a whole? I'm sure you've seen some around.
You don't see them around.
They're 500 made. It's hard to see them.
You've never seen any of them in like your lifetime?
So you've seen them before. They have their base models of like the Grand Nationals.
I'll take you to the Turkey Red Run. We'll go find some.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure there'll be some there. Or they have clones of them. A
Yeah.
lot of people buy them and make clones out of them.
Yeah.
To make a GNX.
Speaking of that, I know you probably didn't watch the 500 because it got so delayed and late and everything, but did you watch any of it? Like the president do a flyby, you missed it?
No, I was getting fitted for my tuxes for me and the kids, so I didn't.
Wait a minute, Tux, kids, where are we going? You get married? I thought you were already married.
Family members getting married.
Oh damn!
So we have to go for the wedding.
When's that wedding?
Saturday.
Oh, so that's why you're going to up north.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Back to New York.
You gonna bring me back some bagels?
I'll try. You know.
The tux, the whole thing. Like Juan's trying to like play this off like it's nothing. That sounds really fun.
Yeah, it's my wife's brother, so he's getting married.
Oh.
So we're going up there.
Did you tell him not to do it?
No, why would I do that?
Because he should not do it.
No.
He needs to have a prenup.
No. They're fine. His new wife is awesome. So.
Oh, well I'm glad that he's happy and you guys are going to go to a beautiful wedding. How many people are going to be there?
I don't know, but they're Italian, so
you're going to have to send me a picture.
I'm sure it's going to be like at least 200.
We know how those old Italian weddings go. There's a bunch of people.
Yep.
Yeah. They all leave those envelopes. You get those stack of cards at the end and you just sit there and count your money later that night. Yeah. Yeah, well that's fun. So what part of New York are you going to?
I forget exactly where, but we'll be like in the Bronx and the Long Island area.
Oh, I could have anything to go get some pizza right now and just like or deli sandwich or just something like that.
I'll send you a photo because I think they rented.
Send me a photo.
Yeah. I'll send you a photo of the food, but they rented a I forget. I think a 50-something Cadillac.
Oh
that
wow!
They're gonna drive away in at the end of the ceremony.
Maybe we should talk about some old cars. Like, what do you think is a cool old car, classic car?
I want I'd love to get an old Continental.
Really?
With the suicide doors.
Yeah.
What would be your car of choice?
Wow. I like all the old cars. They had such such style and
instead of the boxy look that everything now are like the ugly Tesla trucks that we were talking about.
You know, if you remember back, it doesn't even have to go that far back, 60s and 70s, which for some people might be that far back, but it's not really that far back. But if you remember the Corvettes and the Trans Ams and the Firebirds, they all had their own look, and they were really, and then they sort of merged into the same looking thing until recently. But you know, in the 90s and early 2000s, they all looked alike. Yeah. They all lost their pizzazz. Yeah.
Why can't we get back to the pizzazz? We should get back to the pizzazz. We need to just...
Too many laws, too many regulations.
Yeah,
half of that, it wasn't street legal to drive half of those.
No, I mean, they lied. Think about it. Back then in the 60s and 70s, when you looked the stuff up, all the big three lied about what the cars were making so that they could actually sell them because insurance and everything.
Really?
And federal regulations wouldn't let them, you can't claim that car makes 400 horsepower, so they'd lie. And
My dad had a couple of Corvettes that were not street legal. I'm like, why would you buy something that's not street legal? He's like, it's for show. And his friend Ted would like restore them and stuff like that. He had a couple of the Corvettes. We go for rides and we thought we were so cool in the back roads where no one knew where we were going. Yeah. Then my mom would yell at him when we got home. It was like that. But those were cool cars. He had a green one that was really cool. I loved it.
I enjoy going up to the Classic Car Museum in St. Augustine.
I've never been there.
No, and it's kind of cool because in reality it's a big car storage building, and people pay to store their cars there, but the cars change out all the time, and so you go every few months, and it's you know, a whole new show. It's really cool.
That's the one right there on US 1.
Yeah.
They have one too locally, I think, every week that meets up at Woody's, right?
The
classic car show there, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the name? I forget the guy's name that puts it on. There's a couple of them. They have
Heffron.
Heffron Production, but I think they're not doing it at Woody's anymore. They're not allowed to do it there.
Why?
I'm not sure why, but now I think they've moved. I think they're moving over to, I think they said the Target or Ulta.
I know they're doing some shows at Good Vibes every once in a while. They would have classy car shows.
I haven't seen one there in a long time, but yes, they used to do it there. Like every Sunday, I think it was. Which could be why I don't see them, because I'm in church.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you dedicate all Sunday, like you're gone all day.
Yeah.
I thought those shows, aren't they during the week though? Like on Wednesday, the classic car show here in town?
Oh, they have them on different days.
They have different days. Like they have one, I think, in like the beginning of the month, and then they have one towards like the middle of the month that's like on a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And because I think they were doing it over here in the St. Joe's Plaza in Palm Coast, and then
that's where Good Vibes is.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then so I don't know if they're still doing it there, but I think the last post I saw online, they were going to be moving it to the Target parking lot.
Huh. That'll be interesting.
As long as they can keep it going, because some of those cars are really, really nice. People put a lot of time and effort into restoring them, the classic cars, and then
I love going to the Turkey Rod Run, and like when they drive down Daytona and stuff like that, when they're there for the few days, I absolutely love it. My son loves watching the cars too. So
I just go for the swap meet.
Yes, I used to go all the time too. My ex used to do the parts. Yep. So we would go look at the parts, and I'd go on the other side.
Yeah. No, that's all I do. I take the kids with me and say, "Come on," and say, "If you behave, you can buy Hot Wheels. Let's go."
Yeah, exactly. the Hot Wheel guy on the way out. Yeah. Oh, well, that's cool. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been there, but I need to try to go there this year with my son. He would probably love that.
The next one's next month.
We'll have to go
March.
to that.
Yeah, March is the next one. Is the spring.
Now I'm allowed to go out a little bit with a mask on. I won't,
just rent one of those scooters and you'll be fine.
Oh my gosh, it's so embarrassing.
Segway.
I did the one time in Target. My daughter thought we were the coolest thing. I'm like, get me out of this thing, but I couldn't go. I can't walk around the whole store at that time. And I was like, I just don't have the energy. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, they really need to like put a turbo on this or something, because this is just not right. And you have to go really wide.
Into everybody. Get out of the way.
yeah, exactly.
I never thought I'd have to be in one of those things so young in life, but I mean, I can make it look good.
I used to push carts working at a grocery store in New York, and we used to always fight over who was riding one back through the park.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah. We'd do rock, paper, scissors, whatever we could to see who was getting to ride it back.
I feel so bad for the people at Publix. They go out and get all those carts. They don't have the machines. They push that stuff. Like Target's cool. They got the machine and stuff, but not Publix. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, well, like when I was a kid, we didn't have a machine. We used to get in so much trouble. They want us to stick to like the 5.
Be like, I'm going to go out in the parking lot, collect carts, and just like, talk to people.
We'd have trains, literally, like be 30, 40 deep pushing through the parking
lot. Oh my
God. And management would come outside and you can't. I'm like, listen, it's a holiday. There are no carts up front. There's only 2 of us out here. It's snowing. There's sleet and ice everywhere. There's no way we're getting enough carts up there in time. So in a matter of 15, 20 minutes, we'd have all the carts all the way back up. You'd have 4 rows, about 60 deep on each row on both sides of the store. And then we were able to keep up. But they used to get so mad because we couldn't stop them half the time. So we'd have somebody at the front and
you'd be like going through the front door.
Well, no, we couldn't stop the cars coming through. So the cars would literally be coming by, and we'd be like, we can't stop this train.
Oh my gosh.
And they would see us coming. We were already halfway across, and they would cut in front. And I'm not stopping now.
Can you imagine you see little Juan out there like pushing these cars, and that's hilarious.
And we run right into the side of the cars, get yelled at all the time. You can't now, we damaged.
You come in and tell your buddies, how many cars did you hit today? I hit 5.
Yeah. Oh, we had a manager there that everybody hated, and everybody would take turns ramming carts into her car.
It's come full circle now because you said you're the manager now that walks in the door and runs, and then everybody scatters. So
like we have whatchamacallit, like what was it? She had a Saturn. So Saturn at that time was always like you can't dent. These guys would try everything to put a dent in this car. One guy had said, I got a dent. And then you go out there, and as you walk up, you see the dent, and you'd be like, oh, yeah. And then pop out. And you'd be like, nope, doesn't count. Didn't stay.
Saturn, speaking of that, people used to drive those things like they were like little comic cars. Like, you want to talk about the ones that were in and out of traffic that were so annoying, those ones, they're like little bullets.
Once in a while, I still see a Saturn driving around somewhere.
Really?
Yeah, what they used to call them the SL1s and the SL2s.
Yeah, and they're like little darts, man. Like, you see them like weaving in and out of traffic. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Did you ever have a Saturn, Alan?
No, I never had one. But interestingly, back when they were making them, I had a coral farm down in the Caribbean, and we were negotiating with them that for every Saturn sold, they would purchase a piece of coral and have it put in the ocean in the name of the person that bought the Saturn. But it didn't come through because they went out of business.
Well, that was an interesting story. I want to talk about Trump. It's not every day he comes to Daytona to the 500. It's not every day he does a flyby in Air Force One and thousands of Americans go nuts. There was I had family that was there. My dad, my brother-in-law, they were sending videos, and I was watching it live on Fox News. There's just something so cool about that. I mean, I'm sure the Secret Service hate him because he picks like the Super Bowl and the 500 and like these huge events that, like my dad said, was so cool. You should have seen all the Secret Service there, Chrissy. Like, it was really cool. And the race was over an hour later because of all of the extra stuff going on. And watching him drive the Beast down the 500. I mean, there's something about that. I just don't know.
No, it was really cool. And I remember back when, I don't know what year it was, but President Bush landed and Air Force One over there at the Daytona airport and came out and started the race.
Wasn't that after 9/11?
No.
Or before?
No, long before 9/11.
No, you're talking about the dad?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were talking about, because I wanted to say he did something really big after 9/11 too, because morale was so up, and it was at a big sporting event too. I forgot which one it was. I'll have to go back and look.
Didn't he throw a baseball or something?
It was something like
World
that.
Series?
But yeah, I remember because Patriots were it was so American. We got that vibe back when Trump came in.
Oh, yeah. And have you ever been to a Trump rally?
Yes.
Oh.
No, I've never been to a Trump rally. I've been to some like side
I went
rallies, but
Trump,
not like that.
Trump rally over in Sanford when he ran the last time. And wow. Holy cow.
I'm going to have to go to one with you.
They're
not like the same rallies that just have the TV. Or no, like when I'm sure his family's going to still stay involved.
I think so.
And so I'm sure it's going to be like that. And whoever he backs up, it's going to be vibrant like that, I think. And it's going to be amazing. So I don't know.
Yeah, we'll
have to go to one because it's not like when they have like these mini Trump rallies that are. So
I went
side
to
notes.
One when he first got in office the first time, and it was at the Daytona. And everybody was like, they're like, oh, the president's flying in. They said, be on the lookout. They're going to land at Daytona International. That plane came so low to the track.
Yeah.
Like I was there for it. Everybody was screaming. And then a few minutes later, he lands. And literally, because the track is right there. The airport's right behind there. Everybody's like, oh, it's going to be like an hour. No, literally within 10 minutes of them landing, here he was coming through, driving in.
I mean, what did you think about seeing the Beast? run a lap around the track. Like, you never see stuff like this. Like, some of the photos they got were unbelievable. They were so cool. There's just something really cool about that.
And I used to work it down there on the rescue team. They, now the backstretch is covered with a concrete wall down the backstretch, right? Used to be a dirt mound.
Yep.
And when it was a dirt mound, the track would hire. I don't think they actually paid, but they would get the Red Cross to come in, and we were the rescue dive team. So that if a car went over the mound and into the lake, it was my job to go.
Did you ever have to go in the water?
A funny story about that. No, but there was a car. It wasn't in a NASCAR race. It was one of the other races, and it went over.
Like the ARCA guys.
Yeah, it went over.
Or the trucks. The trucks are ruthless. I love them.
And it landed in the water, but I mean, just in the water, like 3 inches deep. And so, but we activated because it was going over, and we're up there, and some photographer took a picture of it, and it got into Sports Illustrated that year. And if you look really close,
that was you?
No, you can see my foot.
Oh, I was hoping you're going to say that. I was in there.
No, my foot is
the right or the left one.
I don't.
I'll have to look.
But it was fun back because we had the official passes, so we could go anywhere, and we did. But we were there for each of the races, and the 24-hour race and stuff. And during one of the 24-hour races, I believe it was Al Unser, if I remember right. The pump tower is on turn 2, and our station was, because turn 2 is typically, if you're going to go in the lake, your wreck would be at turn 2, and as you come down the backstretch, you would be going over and into the lake. So we were there, and he wrecked on turn 2, and back then, before cell phones and all that stuff, we had a regular camera, but it was a digital camera. No, it wasn't. It was a film camera because I got the pictures. Anyway, he's wrecking, and I just happened to be watching, and the camera in my hand at the right time, and I'm. He didn't even get any other water or whatever. Later, I get the pictures developed, and the windshield had popped. I didn't see this when it was happening, but the windshield popped out of his car, and it went like 2 feet from my head.
Oh wow!
And I got pictures of it. Had I been
you almost got your head cut off, but exactly.
No, that was cool down there. I enjoyed it. But then they put in the cement backstretch, so I got replaced by concrete.
Oh, have you ever been on that? Have you ever done the driving experience down there?
No.
My dad did it.
Been out there driving.
Oh, he loved it. He loved it.
You have to be going a minimum of 70 miles an hour to stay on the turns.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I think they
you
still
slide
do that.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, they still do it.
Yeah.
But you have to be going 70. That's the minimum speed.
I mean, even walking up that track is something else when you have to walk from the infield to the stands.
Oh, yeah.
We've been there for the 24-hour race of lemons.
Were you on?
Or 24-hour lemons.
Le Mans?
No, like lemons.
Lemons.
What the hell is that?
I don't know that race.
I was like, the 24-hour race all I know is every January, and turn 4 is where it's at. So I've never heard of this.
I have buddies that have raced professionally, and we would do crazy stuff. I mean, it would get bad to the point. Like we would go out to go-kart tracks, and we would race each other, and it would get so bad that
God,
they would tell us, they would literally, and it was being like the electric carts, they would back down the power and tell us to back off and separate us in races because we would get so violent with each other, like trying to run each other off the road.
Ron, you're such a bad kid when you were younger.
No,
between the carts
this is
and
not younger. This was like only like I want to say, like I was in my 20s.
Oh, dang. It seems like you're just mischievous between the carts today and running into people, and now the go-karts. We got to...
So the 24-hour lemons they have rules. You buy a car, all right, and you prep it for racing. You have to take all the glass out, put plexiglass in, put roll cage. You're only allowed to do certain stuff to motors. There's so many people that cheat.
You're one of them.
It's unbelievable. Well, listen, you want to race against those guys? You have to. I mean, and they have different classes, so it's not just some just clunker. But you have a certain amount, and every year it changes the amount.
Do they have this every year?
Yeah.
Al, we're going to have to go.
I've never heard of it.
I've never heard of it either, and I've lived in here around here my whole life.
Grassroots Motorsports used to be like a big thing into it, and they had their own version where you'd buy a car, And Grassroots Motorsports used to be right there in Ormond Beach, like Holly Hill. I think they've moved. I'm not even sure. I don't know if they're still open anymore. They were like a magazine company. But the 24-hour Lemons race, you literally buy a car. You could only have so much money into it, including the cost of the car, parts. But you could do whatever, so to speak. And then they would inspect it, and if your car passed, you're allowed to race. So my buddy, he had a bunch of guy friends that they had a Lexus SC, what was it, I think a 400. So it comes with a V8. These guys got so creative. There was only certain things you could do to the motor and stuff. So to make more power, they had custom camshafts made.
Oh my gosh!
Using the factory cams, so they still had the Lexus and Toyota emblem stamped in them. So when inspection would look at it, oh, okay, not a problem. And I mean, they would just.
Alan, we got to put in ChatGPT when the next Lemons race is. What time of year is this usually? Like between bike week, race week?
It's been a couple years now since any of us have even gone to it or messed with it. But I want to say it's.
Well, we got to get you a car for the show, like for our podcast. We got to sponsor the car and put you in that bad boy.
That's right.
Do you know how cool it would be to have a black car that says Flagler Voice on the side of it on that track? Alan, that would be full circle.
That'd be cool.
We've got to find out when it is.
You literally drive for 24 hours. So you got.
What was your car?
I never did. I was like,
wait a minute, you got to drive for 24 hours, so you have a team of 4 guys?
Yeah, I think it was a team of 4 or 5 guys, and
Dang.
The person who started had to finish. So it's just like other like the 24-hour of Le Mans and all that. They have to finish. So the driver that starts has to finish.
So you actually drove this?
No, I was not driving.
You just helped with build the car.
We would go for other events, and I would they had SCCA events, like autocross events and time attack events. So we would go on our own personal cars there, and you'd be on part of the Daytona Speedway.
Oh.
So they didn't let you get the whole track. So they'd set up a circuit. You'd be on like turns 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And then you go back into the infield.
They have the chicane and everything.
Yeah. So you'd be in the chicane, and you would just go out there and have fun. But like for that, like they want us, we'd be in there.
We still got to put a car together.
And I mean, so you had to fix your own car. If it broke, you had to fix it. So you had to make sure. Now, if you're out,
you have to have your own pit crew. Basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
This
so
is awesome.
Your drivers are your own pit. So everybody there is all pitching in. So if you break your last part, you can't. That's it. You're done. I mean, they went through. My buddy Tori was so aggressive with the car that they went through. I think they never made it. They still placed, I think, like top 5 or 6 in his class. They didn't get to finish because they had, I think, 6 or 7 sets of axles, and he had gone through all of them.
How cool is that? How cool is that? That is like very interesting too. I can't believe I've never heard about that.
I don't either.
I mean, I've done a lot of events at the track and never heard about that.
You know, it was fun when I used to go there. Talking about in the beginning when we were talking about limited number of cars that were made. I used to have a 21 window Volkswagen bus, 1961 bus. And there was only 100,000 of them made. I didn't know it at the time, but when I was working with the Red Cross would have a vehicle in front of me because we had to go down through the tunnels to get to the infield. And I
used to love driving in that tunnel.
My bus
wouldn't fit.
It would fit, but if I had to stop at the bottom,
oh gosh,
because it was an old 6-volt engine. There was no getting up the other side. so the Red Cross would go through in front of me and stay in an old station wagon. They'd get up there. When they were on the other side, they'd beep the horn. So I knew the coast was clear, and I'd floor it and go down that tunnel and then across the bottom. And I'd be terrified if I
hit a bump or something in that tunnel.
As fast as I could go, and I would just make it to the top on the other side.
Oh my gosh.
It was fun.
That tunnel is kind of crazy when you drive in it. It's a little freaky. Yep. But
I tried not to be in it long because I never got out.
I don't think people realize like the experience of it. Like, I mean, I've been there for truck races and just like the 500 several times, the 400. It's just really cool. I mean, there's something about it. The crowd's really cool. It's just a cool vibe.
Everybody's nice the whole time. Yeah. Some of the people in the infield might get a little drunk, but everybody's
race fans as a whole, when they come in town, it's so good for everybody. I mean, it's great for the economy and everything. And they are very nice people. Yeah. And they've always tipped very well for the people that I know that work, in those industries in that area. Every time, I mean, I haven't heard anything bad. So
yeah, it was fun. It was also fun to
bikers
see
are the same way.
They are.
And Bike Week's coming up soon too.
But
so
on the infield, people would come in their RVs and everything, and then they would put tables and chairs on the top of the RVs, and there'd be this big party, and it was really fun to be there.
I always said when I retired one day I wanted to get an RV and just like travel a NASCAR circuit just once, because then you go around the whole country, and just like see it. And I mean, it looks pretty interesting. Some of those tracks. Yeah, right. I guess so. Well,
yeah. So like I was just trying to see the schedule for the 24-hour Lemons. They're not showing anything now because I think it's been a few years since Daytona's ever done it again. But they have like other classes where
the coolest thing.
You have different classes where you can. It's like a 24-hour Le Mans, except you have different. What's the word? You have different classes of cars. So depending on your car, how much power it makes, the size of the engine is the class that they put you in. And then your class, but you're on the track with the.
I know if I ever have a box derby, cars. I'm calling this guy.
You're on the track with the other cars. So the rule of thumb, like if a faster car is riding you're supposed to move over and let them go, especially if they're in another class.
Yeah.
Because they will penalize you and hit you for second. Sometimes even if you keep doing it, they'll tell you, hey, tell your driver to get out of the car.
Maybe it's a good thing you weren't riding the track.
No.
Call you cold trickle.
It was actually bad because the time that my buddies did theirs, I don't think theirs was the 24-hour Lemons. It was just in another class. It was 24-hour race. And he had, I don't want to put his dirt out there, but he had somebody he knew that was racing, and he was mad that, there was bad blood between them. And so his whole agenda was just to beat them. I think if he had a chance to, he would have put their car on the wall.
So if you were a race car driver, would you be a Rowdy Burns or a Cole Trickle?
I'd be a Tony Stewart.
Oh, I loved watching him, and I absolutely love the aggression out of Tony Stewart. Yeah. My favorite was Bobby Labonte before pre-Tony Stewart. Yeah. And of course, we loved watching Earnhardt.
Yeah.
But Tony Stewart, when he came in with that fire, and nobody was gonna. And then he got into that accident with that kid, and then he was never the same after that. Just like Earnhardt Jr., loved watching him, but then after his dad got into the accident, he didn't drive the same either after that. So, I used to not like Jeff Gordon. As I got older, and as he got older, I liked him a lot more. But there's still Jimmy Johnson, I think, even raced on Sunday, and I
don't pay attention when there's so many new names. I'm just like, who is this person? What?
There's so many new ones now, but I mean, you've got the Bush brother. Remember them? Everybody, you either loved them or you hated them.
Yeah. Well, the race I went to, I think was Coke 0400, and Tony Stewart was racing. I believe it was Kyle Busch.
Oh yeah, they got into it.
Well, as Kyle passed him, turn 3.
Yep.
Shouldn't have done it. As soon as they got coming around out of turn 3, going to turn 4, Tony Stewart goes to move.
Yep.
And goes to pass him. Everybody's like, oh, he hit him on purpose. No, this was Kyle going like this, trying to block him.
Yep.
And nope, Tony just came and just gave him that little bump.
Yep.
And that was it. He sent him into the field. That was it. He got out the car and ran down to the finish line to fight Tony Stewart.
Yeah.
And
who the hell fights Tony Stewart, especially back then? Remember he drove over the Granada Bridge going, what was it, 100 miles an hour they clocked him at? Alan, remember that? He got pulled over, and I'm like, who messes with Tony Stewart? Just give him a free pass, Yeah. No, that the track has so much history, and it's so cool for our area that we have that, and we can experience stuff like that. So, well,
I think next show, I think we should do it live.
Yeah, we'll take some live calls. Yeah. In case people want to talk about their cars and their issues, and
I mean that's what the
as long as it's not a hybrid, he's good to go.
Yeah.
Juan figured that out the hard way.
All right.
Well, have a good night. You want to close it out? Are you ready for this, or do we need 3 takes?
I don't know. We might need 3 takes.
Give it a try.
Give it a try. Right. Give it a whirl.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us. Till next time.